Hello, my name is Shravya Antaram, and I'm a product manager on Azure PlayFab. The topic for today's presentation is to help you to stop losing your players. Today, I'm going to talk about how you can engage and retain players with the content they'll love using Azure PlayFab's ML-powered churn prediction. For the agenda today, I will briefly go over what PlayFab is, do a short deep dive into the data analytics and segmentation, introduce the player churn model, share some mitigation strategies on how you can reduce that churn, and show you a demo of how to use the feature. And finally, we'll sign off with how you can join the public preview. So let's get started. PlayFab is a complete backend platform to build, operate, and manage live games. You can think of it as a gaming backend as a service. It provides a plethora of online services that power today's largest games, and it can power yours too. This includes some of our multiplayer services, such as servers and matchmaking. Next, we have LiveOps, which allows you to operate your game as a live service. And we also have data analytics for analysis of players, trends, revenue, and more. Let's deep dive into the data analytics a little bit. Here, we provide a set of tools that allow you to store, process, and export the required information. Features that can be showcased within this group is experiments, where you can create and run multiple experiments at a time, metrics and reports, where we show you key data such as monthly active users and daily active users, and segmentation. This allows you to group players based on real-life actions, and the most important part of this feature and this talk is the fact that churn prediction is integrated directly within segmentation. As I had briefly mentioned, segmentation is the ability to group players based on their player properties as events occur in real time. Some of the properties that you can group them are specific stats, such as experience points or the location, where are the players coming from, and whether they have push notifications enabled, and even how much money that they've spent within the game itself. So all of these filters that I've just spoken to you about are descriptive, which means we gather the data from the players' playstream events and break down the players into those particular segments. But now we're introducing player churn, which is a predictive solution. Using Azure AI and ML, this filter allows you to identify which players are likely to churn in a given churn window. Churn identification and mitigation has become a vital metric to drive revenue, and revenue is often generated by in-game purchases. So the more time a player spends within your game, the more money they're willing to spend within your title as well. So our goal is to help you identify these high-risk churn players before and take the appropriate steps to prevent them from churning in the first place. So how does player churn prediction work? The first step is to obtain the data. We require specific data points for this feature, and these are directly derived from player profile and playstream events from your PlayFab account. No additional data is required from your end. The next step is to train the ML model with the data that we've just derived. Here, we train the model with two main data points. The first one is player data. Here, we only consider players who have logged in the past 7 days. This is what we call active players. This is to ensure that we have the most recent player data to train the model with and to generate an accurate score at the end. The second data point that we use is title data. Here, we require the title to have data points for the past 21 days. And again, this is to ensure that we have the most recent data for the model. Once the model is trained, it then computes scores for each of the active players. Once the scores are generated, we then categorize them into three main groups: high, medium, and low risk players. This information lets you know which players are most likely to churn within the next churn window. Identifying churn is only step one of the solution to stop losing your players. Step two is to apply mitigation strategies to reduce and prevent churn as much as possible. You can apply these strategies directly from the actions feature within segmentations on PlayFab. Some of these actions include sending out customized emails or doing push notifications. This can be applied on both iOS and Android. If not that, you can send out items directly to their treasure chest or their inventory, and you can even provide them with virtual coins so that they're incentivized to come back to the game. If these out-of-the-box solutions are not suitable for your scenario, you have full control to create a customized script via Azure Functions. And some of the scripting that you can do here can be capable of doing an action such as provide exclusive access to a sale or provide sneak peeks into content that you haven't released yet. These actions will attract players to come back and see what they might be missing out on within the game. So how can you start using this feature? Churn Prediction is a premium paid opt-in service, which means that you can enable and disable the feature at any point of time. The only prerequisite is that we request you to have your billing and payment information updated prior to enabling the feature on your title. Once the feature has enabled, we require 48 hours for the data to be ingested and scores to be generated, after which you can create the segments directly. Once you've identified the segments that you want to create and the group of players that you want to work with, you can use the export APIs to export all of the player information from the segments for further analysis. The biggest benefit of using this feature, apart from the churn scores and the ML modeling, of course, is just how easy it is to use it. There are no API changes, no new code, and absolutely no additional integration required from your end. Just enable the feature, give us a little bit of time to cook it, and start using it. So I've spoken to you a lot about the feature. Now allow me to walk you through a quick demo. So I'm currently on the PlayFab's default landing page, the title overview. I will navigate to Players on the left-hand side and click on Segments. As I had mentioned, Player Churn Prediction is an opt-in service, which means that once you have configured your billing and payment information, the button will be available to you. For this demo purpose, I have already enabled player churn for this title, which is why you see a deactivate player churn on the right-hand side. You can enable and disable this feature at any point of time with just one click of a button. So now let's see how we can create a segment. I will click on New Segment, and this will take me to a Create Segment page. In the drop-down here, you will see all the different filters that I have spoken to you about earlier in the presentation. All of the information for these filters is derived directly from the player profile, as well as play stream events. No additional information is required from your end. Please note that any segments that are created is always real-time, which means that once a segment is created and a different player falls into that category the next day, they will automatically be added into the segment. So let's see how we can create a churn prediction segment. Go and navigate up to churn prediction. Here, you're going to see 3 options: high, low, or medium risk. Depending on the category that you would like to deploy, you can select a particular option. Now I'm going to select high risk. So let's name this segment. I'm going to call this high risk players. Just go ahead and save the segment at the bottom. As you can see, a new segment has been created for us. And in this particular title, there's only one player that falls into a high risk bucket, which is great for them. Now you've seen how to create a segment using the churn predicate. Let's figure out how to create mitigation strategies directly from the platform. So please navigate back into the segment. If you were to scroll down, you'll see an actions area. Here, just click on Add Action. Any actions that you will take will apply to all the players that fall within this segment. The first action that I'm going to take is send an email. I have already pre-configured a template where it will send all the information out regarding the sale on my title to the players. But this is just one mitigation strategy. What if you want to do more? All you have to do is click on Add Action and select another one. Here, I'm going to do Grant Virtual Currency. In this title, the virtual currency that I've configured is Game Coins. And let's give the players about 50 coins to see if they're able to come back to the game. And the last one that I'm going to do is execute Azure functions. I have already created a script called Access to Sale. So anytime that a player falls into this segment, that script will execute and they will be privy to a specific sale that I want them to see. I can go ahead and save the segment with all of these actions. Once the segment has been saved, all the actions will apply to all the players that fall into that category. Now you've seen how to create a segment as well as how to implement mitigation strategies directly from the Azure PlayFab platform. So come, join our public preview. You can opt into it directly from the PlayFab's game manager. So go ahead, start creating your segments and identifying your high-risk players. And don't forget to apply your mitigation strategies as well. If you have any questions, concerns, or feedback, please do email us at playerchurn@microsoft.com. Thank you.